Greetings, everyone, and peace be with you. My name is Reverend Matthew, and welcome to this week's devotional here at Selby United Church. And this week, I want to talk about how words matter. They matter because they have an effect on ourselves and others. And Jesus tells us this in the Gospel of Matthew. After the Pharisees have carelessly blasphemed the Holy Spirit by saying Jesus does the work of the devil, which of course is ridiculous, but after Jesus has chastised them for saying that, because it's a wicked thing to say, Jesus then adds in Matthew 12:34 to 37 this: "For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in him, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in him. I tell you, on the day of judgment, you will have to give an account for every careless word you utter. By the words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." Sorry there. And see, every careless word you utter, that hits me to my core. And the Bible has a lot to say on the power of the words we speak, because they are dangerous. As Proverb describes, rash words are like sword thrusts. And in 8:21 it says that death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. And yet we are often so careless with the words we say. Emotions in us can run hot, and we might not even realize the passive-aggressive comments and backhanded compliments we make are often these comments are made for our own self-assurance. They're not even really thinking of what we're actually saying and what the impact we hope it to have, and when we say them, they can really cause harm. For the person that receives them could feel outcast, degraded, or underappreciated. They can feel effectively murdered or assaulted by our words, as grating as a winter storm is through a very thin coat. But not only do these careless words harm others, but as Jesus shows here, it defiles ourselves, for it shows the contempt, anxiety, and pride our heart holds. And it's very easy nowadays to propagate these feelings within our hearts through the harmful things we can say that we don't even feel will have an impact. How easy it is that we shout at our TV rash insults at professional players or musicians or celebrities or politicians we're disappointed in. How easy it is to type anonymously complaints from behind our computer screen and say rude things that we would never say to someone in person, thinking no one will know. But Jesus tells us we will be answerable for these careless comments, for no matter who we hide it from, God knows we've said them. He sees our hearts. He sees them as if we said it right to the person, because it works. Evil from our hearts overflowing, and we don't want that. For Jesus has shared with us life and love and wants the Holy Spirit to work on us and work in our hearts so that they become more loving, so that the Holy Spirit that is within our heart flows love outward. So what do we do instead? Well, hear the advice that St. Paul gives us in Ephesians 4:29. "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear." We must speak gracefully, even when correcting someone, even in all our random comments and things we say, speaking lovingly, thinking carefully rather than carelessly about the words we're going to say, about if they build up or if they break down, if they're meant for the good of the other or just for the good of ourselves. We should pause when we're about to speak, especially when we feel emotionally charged to speak, and think about what we're going to say, even praying about what we're going to say, leaning humbly on God and His Word trained in us, asking Him for discernment on if what we are saying is loving, gracious, just, or even just appropriate and helpful for what the situation is. As Paul says, does it fit the occasion? I think if we do this, I've seen it personally in my work in the hospital, in my work in ministry, that if we do this, even just saying a quick prayer for help before we speak, that we will find our ability to engage lovingly and patiently will really improve, and that we will all be much more in line with the everlasting life Christ has shared with us, and a lot more building of the kingdom will get done together. Thanks be to God for His grace. See you next week. Amen.